All right, so lately everyone's been talking about AI agents, and I know a lot of you are curious about what they actually are, what's all the hype about.
Yeah.
Today we're going to deep dive into how AI agents work and really try to understand if you should be worried about them taking your job. Our deep dive today is going to be based on this article called AI Agents, Memory Systems, and Graph Database Integration. And to help us really understand all this, we've got an expert here who can break down how these things work.
Yeah, and I think a good place to start is by understanding how AI agents are different from the AI that we're already interacting with every day.
Okay, so like my phone's assistant, that's AI,
Yeah.
but it's not an agent. What's the difference?
So think about it this way. Your assistant waits for you to give it a command, right?
Yeah.
An AI agent takes initiative. It has tools, sensors, access to data APIs that it can use to interact with the world and make decisions based on what it observes.
So it's less about reacting to me
Yeah.
and more about acting on its own.
Exactly. And the article uses this great example of customer service chatbots. A basic chatbot is programmed with pretty limited responses, but an AI agent could pull up your order history, see what products you usually buy, and offer you like tailored recommendations, or even proactively resolve an issue before you even know it exists.
Okay, that's kind of creepy,
Yeah.
but also super useful. I'm already seeing how this is more than just a fancy Siri. But hold on, before we go full sci-fi here, where are we really at with AI agent tech? Because the emojis make it seem like they're about to take over the world.
Right, and that's where understanding the different levels of AI agents comes in. The article lays out 4 levels, and thankfully we're nowhere near the self-aware stage yet.
Okay, good. But what are those stages?
So at the base level, you have reactive agents. This is basically most AI we interact with today. They respond to a specific input or a specific situation. Then there are limited memory agents. Think self-driving cars. They use data from their immediate surroundings, but also remember things like recent traffic patterns to make better decisions.
So remembering the route I take to work every day, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But then it gets really interesting. The next level is theory of mind agents. Now, these are theoretical, but they would be able to understand human emotions and intentions. Imagine an AI agent that could not only answer your questions, but also sense if you are getting frustrated and adjust its approach accordingly.
Now that is both cool and slightly unsettling. And the final level is where the robots rise up.
Well, sort of. The final level is self-aware agents. These are purely hypotheticals at this point, but they would have a sense of their own existence and motivations. We're not really talking about that today. What's important to understand is that even the agents we do have now, they're pretty complex, and their design is key to how they function.
Okay, let's break that down then. What are the building blocks of an AI agent?
Think of it as a cycle. Perception, reasoning, learning, action. So first, the agent perceives its environment using sensors, data feeds, APIs, all sorts of inputs. Then it reasons, using algorithms to process that information it receives, and decides what to do next.
So like the AI version of thinking things over.
Exactly. Then comes learning. Based on the outcome of its actions, the agent adjusts its internal models to get better at making decisions in the future. And finally, action. It interacts with the world based on what it's learned, whether that's sending you a notification, adjusting a thermostat, or making a trade on the stock market.
There's like a constant feedback loop, getting smarter with every action it takes.
Precisely. But there's one crucial element that allows for this continuous learning and improvement: memory.
Okay, so the article really dives into this idea of memory being key for AI agents. But it's not just about storing tons of data, right?
Right. It's about having the right kind of memory
Right.
and being able to access it effectively. You have short-term memory, which is like your working memory, holding information relevant to the current task. And then there's long-term memory, where the agent stores knowledge, experiences, even procedures it can apply to future situations.
The article uses self-driving cars as an example of limited memory. They need to be aware of what's happening around them right now, but they don't need to remember every pothole they've ever encountered.
Exactly. But for an AI agent to be truly helpful, it needs long-term memory. Imagine an agent that manages your finances. Wouldn't you want it to remember your investment goals, your risk tolerance,
Yeah.
even that time you accidentally overdrafted and had to eat ramen for a week?
Oh, okay, that example just made it real. So it's not just about remembering facts. It's about remembering context. And even things specific to me as the user.
Absolutely. And that's where things start to get really interesting, because memory is what allows AI agents to develop a deeper understanding of the world and the people they interact with. And that's where this whole idea of knowledge graphs comes into play.
Oh, okay, so the article mentions knowledge graphs being really important for AI agents. But to be honest, I'm a bit fuzzy on what those actually are.
Think of it like a map, But instead of places, it connects pieces of information. It shows the AI agent how things are related, which helps it understand the world in a more complex way.
So instead of just storing data points,
Yeah.
it's building like a network of understanding.
Exactly. Imagine like a family tree or a social network. Those are visual representations of relationships, right? A knowledge graph does the same thing, but with massive amounts of data,
Mhm.
which allows the AI agent to see connections and draw conclusions that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
The article specifically mentions this platform called FalcorDB. What's that all about?
FalcorDB is a type of database that's designed specifically for AI agents, and it's all about speed and efficiency. Because for an agent to be truly helpful, it needs to be able to access and process information incredibly quickly. Think about a self-driving car. It needs to make split-second decisions based on what's happening around it. FalcorDB helps make that possible.
Okay, so we've got these AI agents with memory, knowledge graphs, and the ability to interact with the world in real time. Where are we actually seeing this play out? What are some real-world examples?
They're popping up everywhere. Virtual assistants that can actually book appointments for you, not just add them to your calendar. Healthcare chatbots that can access your medical history and give you personalized advice based on your symptoms.
The article mentions Talkie.ai as an
Mhm.
example of that healthcare application. It's not just answering FAQs, it's actually pulling relevant information from your medical records
Yeah,
to give you helpful information.
exactly. And then there's Billy Buzz, which monitors conversations on Reddit to identify potential leads for businesses. Imagine trying to do that manually. It would be incredibly time-consuming, but an AI agent can do it quickly and efficiently.
Okay, so we talked about the basics, the building blocks,
Mhm.
the real-world applications, but I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. What about the potential downsides of all this? What are the things we need to be cautious about?
It's a valid concern, and something we need to be very mindful of as AI agents become more sophisticated. One of the biggest challenges is ensuring these agents are used responsibly and ethically. We need to be careful about the data they have access to and make sure they're not perpetuating biases or making decisions that could harm people.
It's like with any powerful tool. It can be used for good or bad.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to how we choose to develop and deploy it. So, given all of that, where do you see this technology heading in the future? What are some of the trends we should be paying attention to?
The field is moving incredibly fast, but I think there are a few key areas to watch. First, we're going to see AI agents becoming even more sophisticated and capable. As processing power increases and algorithms get smarter, we'll see agents that can handle even more complex tasks
Hmm.
and make more nuanced decisions.
So they'll be able to tackle problems that are currently beyond our capabilities. That's both exciting and a little scary.
It is. And second, we're going to see a rise in what are called multi-agent systems. Imagine multiple AI agents working together, each specializing in a particular task to achieve a common goal.
So instead of just one agent handling one thing, it's like a whole team of AI specialists collaborating.
Exactly. This could revolutionize everything from supply chain management to scientific research. We could see teams of AI agents working together to solve complex problems that have stumped humans for years.
This is all starting to sound very sci-fi, but I guess the line between sci-fi and reality is getting blurrier every day,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to AI.
It is, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations now, to really think about the implications of this technology
Yeah.
and how we want to shape its development. We need to be proactive, not reactive, when it comes to AI agents.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the very basics to some pretty mind-blowing future possibilities. Before we wrap up, I want to go back to those different types of agents we touched on earlier. You mentioned reactive and limited memory agents, but the article also talks about goal-based and utility-based agents. Can you break down the difference and explain why that distinction matters?
Absolutely. Goal-based agents are programmed with a specific objective in mind. They use rules and models of the world to figure out the best way to achieve that goal. Think about a chess-playing AI. Its goal is to win the game, and it uses its knowledge of chess strategy to figure out the best moves to make.
So it's not just reacting to what its opponent does, it's actively planning ahead to reach its objective.
Exactly. But utility-based agents take it a step further. They consider not just the goal, but also the value or utility of different actions. They choose the path that maximizes their expected reward or benefit.
Okay, so help me understand that distinction.
Yeah.
How does a goal-based agent differ from a utility-based one in a real-world scenario?
Let's say you have an AI agent that's designed to help you manage your finances. A goal-based agent might be programmed with the goal of maximizing your savings. It would look for ways to reduce your spending and increase your deposits. But a utility-based agent would take it a step further and consider the trade-offs involved. It might realize that cutting back on certain expenses, like your daily latte, would save you money, but also reduce your happiness. So it might recommend alternative solutions, like finding a cheaper coffee shop or brewing your own coffee at home.
So it's not just about blindly achieving the goal. It's about finding the best solution overall, taking into account all the different factors.
Exactly. And that's why utility-based agents are often seen as more sophisticated and capable of making more nuanced decisions. They're not just following a set of rules, they're actually trying to understand the underlying values and preferences of the user.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And the article also mentions learning agents. How do those fit into this whole picture?
Learning agents are the most advanced type of AI agent. They can learn from their experiences and adjust their behavior accordingly. Instead of being programmed with a fixed set of rules, they can adapt and evolve as they interact with the world.
So they're not just following instructions, they're actually figuring things out on their own.
Exactly. They're constantly gathering data, analyzing feedback,
Hmm.
and refining their internal models to improve their performance over time. This is what allows them to handle complex and dynamic situations that traditional AI systems would struggle with.
Can you give me an example of a learning agent in action? Something that would really illustrate the power of this type of AI.
Imagine a learning agent that's designed to personalize your newsfeed. It would start by analyzing your past reading habits, the articles you click on, the topics you engage with. But it wouldn't stop there. It would also consider your current mood, your location, even the time of day, to tailor the content it shows you.
So it's not just showing me the same types of articles over and over again. It's actually anticipating my needs and interests based on all sorts of factors.
Precisely. And the more you use it, the better it gets at understanding what you want to see. It's like having a personal curator for your online experience, constantly learning and adapting to your evolving preferences.
That's pretty amazing. But it also raises some questions about privacy and control. If these agents are constantly learning about us,
Hmm.
how do we make sure that information is being used responsibly?
That's a crucial question, and one that researchers and developers are grappling with as AI agent technology advances. We need to be very careful about the data these agents have access to
Mm.
and make sure they're not being used to manipulate or exploit users.
Like with any powerful technology, there's always a potential for misuse. So as we move forward with AI agent development, it sounds like ethical considerations need to be front and center.
Absolutely. We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential risks and benefits of this technology and make sure we're developing it in a way that aligns with our values and goals as a society.
Okay, so we've talked about the different types of AI agents, their capabilities, and the potential challenges they pose. But I'm curious, what about the article's focus on memory systems and graph database integration? How do those technical aspects tie into the bigger picture of AI agent development?
They're essential building blocks. Memory is what allows agents to learn and adapt, to develop a deeper understanding of the world and the people they interact with. And graph databases provide a powerful way to organize and access that information, enabling agents to make connections and draw conclusions that would be impossible otherwise.
So it's like having a brain with a really good filing system.
Exactly. And as these technologies continue to advance, we can expect AI agents to become even more capable and sophisticated. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible with this technology.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. It's clear that AI agents are already having a significant impact on our lives, and their influence is only going to grow in the years to come.
I agree. It's an exciting time to be working in this field, and I'm eager to see what the future holds for AI agents and their potential to transform our world.
Yeah, it really feels like we're at the beginning of like a whole new world almost. But as you said, it's super important to like approach AI agent development really thoughtfully.
Absolutely. And, one of the things I really appreciate about this article is that it doesn't shy away from those complexities. It gets into the technical details, but it also really prompts us to think about that bigger picture.
Absolutely. So for our listeners who are now just as fascinated by AI agents as we are, we've included a link to the full article, AI Agents, Memory Systems and Graph Database Integration, in the show notes.
It's a great read if you want to dive even deeper into those technical aspects
Yeah.
and really get a sense of just the incredible potential of this technology.
And of course, a huge thank you to you for walking us through all of this. I always learn so much from these conversations.
The feeling is mutual. These deep dives are always so thought-provoking.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this exploration of AI agents. It's a topic we'll definitely be revisiting as this technology continues to evolve. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.